love when something surprises me. And that's exactly what this marathon short film did. Make no mistake, it's a short film. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, there's a new game called Marathon made by Bungie, and they have a cinematic reveal trailer directed by the guy who made The Witness. He's known for bringing raw, textured emotion into animation through wild lighting, expressive brushstrokes, and camera work that doesn't just move, it lurches, it snaps, and it drags you through the screen. This, paired with the overly sleek, vibrant, and apparent colours of Marathon's art direction, is perfect. It even does something that I love above all else in film: showing, not telling. No exposition dumps, just raw visual language. The lighting speaks, the silence screams, every single colour feels intentional. What characters wear, where shadows fall, how the world breathes when nobody is talking. And when there is dialogue, it matters, and it even sometimes makes you feel uncomfortable.
I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert."
That piece of dialogue is played immediately and sets the tone from the beginning. And that's just part of what makes this short so fascinating. Now, this video is going to cover three things: the art, the dialogue, and of course, the cinematography. This is a camera moving through a 3D space. This is me applying camera shake. Even with the camera shake, it lacks that human feel. In fact, human touch is really hard to replicate. Now, compare that to this. The unstable camera work represents one thing: pressure. You feel it in the moments where there are heavy chases, gunfire, just general unease. The runners are in a death match. They're out there to scavenge and survive. Naturally, this environment is sporadic. It's sudden, it's ever-changing, and it's reflected in the camera work. The dragging shows the exhaustion, the disorientation, and just lethargy. The snapping reflects the panic and the quick changes. And something we haven't even talked about is the fact that a camera is our lens into the world. It changes you from an observer to a participator. And this masterclass is displayed in the framing. Most things are off-center or just uncomfortably zoomed in, and it makes this barren wasteland feel extremely claustrophobic. And that's not a mistake. We're not meant to see the whole picture. We're meant to see what is important to characters in that very moment. Now, I don't understand the marathon lore entirely. I've only just downloaded the games, and I plan to play through them on stream, which is linked in the description. I stream about 3 hours every Saturday, and I plan to do more in the future. But if you miss them, you can always go to my second channel, which is also linked in the description, that posts edited VODs aimed to make you laugh. But at the beginning of the shot, where everyone dies, you see what matters to them in those very short moments. Their crops, their vehicles, even just the weird shit that's happening around them at that specific point. It's genius. It constantly flips from macro and micro, showing wide shots of devastated cities and immediately changing to tight facial shots. Framing is only one piece of cinematography. These are two screenshots from the shot. One uses warmer colours and the other uses cold blues and sickly greens. The warm tones tend to be linked to moments of connection, memory, safety. The colder colours show the harshness of being reawoken as a runner, the absence of what you were before you fell. And whenever there's a gunfight, it's red, it's flashing, it's booming and sudden. Aggression pours into the camera. Nothing is flat. There is very little neutral colours, and the world is always subtly telling us exactly how to feel. We can go on and on about the cinematography, but I think we should move to something that Miyagi actually didn't really have a hand in, and is more Bungie's doing. I want to talk to you about the art of Marathon. Marathon does something brave. In a world full of troglodytes like Asmongold, it stands firm with a unique art style that's almost too sleek. If I was to describe it in one word, minimalist. This digital and minimalist art direction is further reflected in the character designs. My favourite of them all being Glitch. She's got this face paint that covers half of her face, thick black lipstick and these beady LED eyes that most runners have. Her clothes are loose and soaked in neon, with each iteration of her having a fresh but vibrant colour palette. Compare this with the other runner of focus in the shot, Void. Void bolsters a neutral colour scheme with black and white, and a much more orderly design with less visual chaos. And the two contrast each other perfectly. Yet the neon of Glitch is crazy. Yet the neon of Glitch and the neutrality of Void share one thing. They oppose the setting that they are in. The world of Marathon is sparse, but that's the point. Every space looks erased and rewritten again and again. Constant iterations with their own imperfections and flaws. Buildings look structurally unstable and often out of place. Like, what the fuck is this green and blue structure doing in farmland? There's this moment where Void stands over Glitch's corpse, and I feel this moment shows everything I'm trying to convey perfectly. The muddiness of the floor, the ruins of buildings around them, each structure looking like it's ripped from a different time. The futuristic sci-fi arrangement to the right and the ruins of a modern building to the left. The subtle lighting shining on Glitch and the lower half of Void, and the neon blood Glitch leaves blending with the floor. Only for Void to get the artifact he's been obsessing over his entire time on screen. The artifact that's been whispering something into his ear. Which leads me onto my final point. The dialogue. Let's start with one strip of dialogue I love. It's when the shot introduces Glitch.
Genetics sent a reminder. Your shell repayment is coming up and will be charged against your line of credit.
Yeah, I know. Do you mind if we skip the formalities this time? Got a big contract waiting down there, so.
Understood. Let's proceed with your grounding exercise. Are you familiar with this item?
That's my lucky charm. Yeah, it's supposed to be my lucky charm.
Layering the voices over each other. It can be interpreted in two ways. One is that it's her past iterations talking and answering the same questions, as it shows flashes of her corpses with blood draining from their heads. You know it's a different Glitch each time because her colour palette changes with each one. The other interpretation is that it could be her inner voice, the thoughts in her head. Honestly, it can be either. I'm leaning towards the hushed voice being the one in her head and representing her thoughts, but I could be wrong. Let me know exactly what you think it is. And although this dialogue is cool, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a memory test to see what Glitch remembers. There's no double entendre in the actual lines, and there's no deeper meaning besides guessing where the other voices are coming from. But there is something else in this shot that still sticks out to me while I'm recording this very video above everything else we've covered.
I met a traveler from an antique land who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies. whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that it sculped to well those passions red which yet survive. Stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, lifeless hand that mocked them, and the heart that fed.
This is a poem called Ozymandias by Percy Shelley. It tells the story of a fallen king, a once great ruler whose empire turned to dust, and all that's left is a broken statue in a vast, empty desert. It's about the illusion of permanence, about how power, no matter how absolute, always fades with time. And that is Marathon. You see it in the design, ruins swallowed by mud, high-tech corridors decaying under time. You hear it in glitches, reboots, you feel it in the silence between the shots. This world is clinging to an identity that is already gone. Void even survives longer than most in the show, and still he dies. Even the game itself whispers the truth. You loot, you extract, you rebuild, but the cycle doesn't stop. It's not about winning, it's about lasting, and eventually even that fails. There are no happy endings, and nothing beside remains.
Round the decay of that colossal wreck, round the decay of that boundless wreck, boundless, the lone and level sands stretch far away.